Globalizing the management model involves the whole organization. If the domestic organization is opposed or puts up resistance, then globalizing the management model will not happen. Is this truly possible? The answer is a definite yes, and I have seen it happen. The organizational structure or architecture must be matched to a global strategy to ensure that the strategy is effectively deployed. Without it, this global strategy will not matter, no matter how great it looks on paper. The strategy and architecture of the firm must not only be consistent with each other, but also make sense given the competitive conditions prevailing in the firm's markets. Strategy, architecture, and competitive environment must all be consistent. Organizational architecture is a totality of a firm's organization, including formal organizational structure, control systems, incentives, organizational culture, and people. While there are 5 parts of the organizational architecture diagram, based on decades of global business experience, let's focus on the 2 most important parts. First, people. In order to have an effective global organization, the right people have to be recruited, trained, and retained. This could require a revamping of the methods used in all 3. This is not just at the management level, but also includes the board of directors. It is true, a company's management plays a major role in shaping the corporate mindset toward global expansion. Equally important, though, is the board of directors' view of global expansion strategy. If the board is not supportive or does not have global expansion strategy experience, then it will be hard to develop a meaningful global strategy. Second is culture. If the company's culture is one of risk adverse, then it will be hard to maintain a meaningful global expansion strategy. Or if the culture is built on a centralized management organization where all important decisions are controlled by HQ, the global operations will falter under the weight of indecisive decision making. Many global companies go through multiple transformations where the organizational architecture is constantly re-examined and revamped to meet the ever-changing global business environment. Let's look a little closer at structure, as this is the driving force for the other dimensions of the organizational architecture. Regarding centralization, there are 4 key factors to consider. 1. Facilitates the coordination and integration of all operations. 2. Ensures that decisions are consistent with organizational objectives. 3. Provides senior executives the means to bring change. 4. Avoids the duplication of activities that occurs when similar activities are carried on by various subunits. On the other hand, decentralization has these 3 factors to consider. 1. Provides senior executives time to focus on critical issues by delegating more routine issues to lower-level managers. 2. Allows for employees at all levels of the organization to be more motivated as they have more control over the daily activities. And 3. Increases flexibility in decision-making, which often results in better decisions. Most successful global companies have a mix of the 2, but will lean more on the decentralization as their global geographical presence increases. Very hard for an executive management team based in Minnesota to make all decisions for an operating unit located in India. There are certain decisions that would need to be in the hands of the local executive team in order to make timely, effective decisions. Normally, but not always the case, domestic firms are organizationally structured around functions like production, marketing, R&D, sales, and product divisional structure within each division responsible for a distinct product line or business area. Initially, companies looking to expand outside of their domestic market will start with an organizational structure that replicates the organizational structure in the home market. The organizational familiarity allows for better communication and helps to overcome coordination problems. As the domestic companies grow in experience, it will make a move toward a more matrix-type organization. In a global matrix organization, differentiation proceeds along two dimensions: product division and geographic area, and involves dual decision making. While it does provide a higher degree of communication with the various parts of the overall organization, however, with so many different levels involved, decision making can be, and oftentimes is, clumsy and bureaucratic. Regardless of the organizational structure, one of the most important keys to success in moving from a domestic-oriented organization to one that is more globally focused is a change in the organizational culture. Culture is a system of values and norms that are shared among people within the organization. The organizational culture is initially established by the founders and will be reflective of their values and norms. This organizational culture is promoted and maintained by hiring and promotional practices of the organization, reward strategies, socialization processes, formal and informal, and a corporate mission statement. There are three strategies that can be utilized in developing the correct organizational culture as a company grows in its global presence. The first is a localization strategy. The focus is on local responsiveness. Operating decisions are decentralized to functionally self-contained country subsidiaries. The next progression is developing a global organization is the international strategy. Companies want to attempt to create value by transferring core competencies from the home office to foreign subsidiaries. However, headquarters maintain centralized control over the firm's core competency. Other decisions are decentralized. In a globalization strategy, a company focuses on the realization of location and experience curve economies. Headquarters typically maintains ultimate control over most operating decisions. However, there is a strong organizational culture and incentive system that are typically linked to performance metrics at the corporate level. And finally, the transnational strategy allows the company to focus on the simultaneous attainment of location and experience curve economies, local responsiveness, and global learning. While some operating decisions are centralized, production and R&D, many of the operating decisions are left in the hands of the local executive management team. However, there still remains a need for coordination of decision-making to ensure the company's values and missions are being adhered to across the world. Creating the right environment for a global mindset is paramount to developing and executing a global expansion strategy. One of the things to consider is the organization that initially developed and executed the global expansion strategy. It may not be the same organization needed for operating the new global operations. The realigning and restructuring of the organization is an ongoing process as the global business evolves around the world. One of the best examples is Coca-Cola. For years, the CEO was from the ranks of U.S. executives. However, in 1980, Roberto Goizueta, a Cuban, was appointed CEO because of its growing international presence. Since 1980, only one U.S.-born executive has served as CEO for 4 years of the company. This is a reflection of the company's worldwide global operations. In closing, globalizing the organizational mindset is critical to the success of transforming a company from a domestic to a multi-global mindset. Without this, the company will remain primarily a domestically focused company.